Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of GamesQuestions, episode 23 now, I believe. Before we start, we'd just like to say that we've had a few people reach out either through GamesQuestions or just by a direct message, wondering about the upcoming schedule with the disruption which will be caused over Christmas. A quick heads up that next Tuesday's blog will be the best indicator of how fulfillment is looking throughout the Christmas period, and if it isn't on fulfillment underway by then, we would assume that it's probably going to start in the new year. However, just to follow up with as much communication as we can, we'll be putting an update on across our social media pages on the 23rd of December, which is our last day working in the office and warehouse before the Christmas period, which will list the projects which are currently underway and a completion percentage if possible. But anyway, to the questions. Firstly, before I start the blogs, there was a question from Marcel on the GamesQuestions video last week, which I would just like to answer for him. Which says, "Aren't you the designated fulfillment partner for Shivers as well? I've not seen any updates about it yet. I have heard from backers in the UK having received their copy already. Thanks." Marcel, you are indeed correct. We are the fulfillment partner for Shivers. It wasn't on the blog due to a miscommunication. However, the publisher would like to be included, so that has been added for next week, and fulfillment is currently underway for that, so apologies for that. But anyway, to the fulfillment blogs. I will start off with the UK this week, and the first question is from Malcolm, who said, "Hi, for One Deck Galaxy, you say on site but not yet started. What does this mean, and when's the plan to start taking into account Christmas and business shutting down for a few days?" Well, hopefully you caught the information at the beginning for taking Christmas into account, so I hope that's answered your question for that. For One Deck Galaxy, stating as on site, not yet started. Yes, so we're currently looking into additional ways to explain this better. However, there is sometimes a delay between projects arriving, or like games arriving from port and project data analysis, where they are on site and they're in the queue to begin project data analysis. They just haven't begun. So so we are currently looking into better ways to communicate that status in the meantime. However, regarding One Deck Galaxy, I can confirm that the data is now being looked at, so it is currently in project data analysis. I also noticed you have asked, also, what's your favourite cheese? I am lactose intolerant, so cheese is pretty limiting to me. So probably not the best person to ask that question to, but thank you very much for the question. Next one is from Tobias, who said, "First, Merry Christmas to all at GamesQuest." And Merry Christmas to everyone of the GamesQuest community. I hope everyone is feeling festive. However, your question is second, could we get an update on 11 shipping, as GameFound page hasn't given any information on, and postal strikes and the impending holiday combined with mid-December estimate for Portal Games is causing concern for the UK community. Yeah, so the latest update for 11 is that we're expecting fulfillment to begin on Friday. However, the majority of fulfillment will not begin until next week, as we're closed at the weekend. So just bear that in mind. Just a heads up as well, it looks like 11 shipping will be sent via Royal Mail, and we just wanted to make you aware that there are some upcoming Royal Mail strikes which will be on the 23rd, Friday the 23rd, and also Saturday the 24th of December. So if your package has been dispatched, these strikes might affect the delivery in the meantime. And I hope that information is helpful in the meantime. Next up, we have Ben, who looks like you have two questions. So the first one is regarding Draw Labs coins, which is asking why fulfillment is taking so long. And according to Draw Labs, you've had the coins for 6+ weeks, and it's still unfulfilled. Fulfillment is underway for Season 6 Draw Lab coins. However, as previously stated, we're expecting this to be a slow process, and this is due to the complexity of the project, as we're also not using our usual process. However, the team are working close with the publisher, and we'll be dispatching items. Unfortunately, some stock is still missing. However, we've spoken to the publisher, and moving forward, we'll dispatch what we have, and we believe the publisher will be sending additional stock of the additional stock that is missing from your order. However, this should be noted on the invoice, of the items that are missing. So regarding your next question, which is there any estimated shipping date on Old School Essentials? Do you have all the items, or we're still waiting for the stock? So we are still waiting for the stock for Old School Essentials, and it is currently on hold. It will stay on hold until we've had confirmation that it's arrived at the warehouse. But as soon as it has arrived, that will be moved back onto the blog to a relevant spot. So yeah, Ben, thank you for both questions there. And then next up we have Don, who said, hello, what are the estimates for Europa? It seems from the blog post that nothing has changed in the last week. Is there any chance to expect it before Christmas, or should we expect it in the new year? Also, Christmas means a lot of us may not be home to receive parcels. Will your courier facilitate an option to choose alternative later time delivery? Regarding Europa, it's still currently in project data analysis. I would wait for the next week's fulfillment blog to give an indication of what's underway, as there are a few things ahead of it in the meantime. So I would probably say to risk disappointment to expect it in the new year. However, as previously stated, we'll put an update out on the 23rd of December across Facebook with the projects that are underway and a percentage of that project, if possible. For the courier, you will receive a dispatch email once the items have been dispatched, along with tracking, and usually there are options within that for the customers to ensure the parcel and get to you when you're available. However, if it is through Royal Mail and they have tried to deliver it, they do hold on to it for, I believe it's 21 days, and you can arrange a delivery time that'll work for you through your tracking link, or you can also pop down to where it's being held and pick it up from there. So hopefully that information is helpful for you, and thanks again for popping by this week and leaving a question. And we have one final question from the UK blog from Neil, who said it would be really helpful if you could indicate what to expect to ship before Christmas and what will be delayed until next year. Yeah, Neil, that's correct. We understand, especially with the disruption caused through Christmas and then obviously the additional postal strikes which are currently going on. We definitely understand that people would like more information of what's going out. So as mentioned in the beginning of the video, just keep an eye out for a post on the 23rd of December of what is underway and where we are with that. And as always, keep an eye out on the blog for next week to see where we are with projects, and that will probably be the final where we are for the rest of the week running up to Christmas. Okay, and with all them answered, we'll head over to the EU blog, and the first question is from Mads, who said, hello, now that Europa is in project data analysis, how realistic is it to be sent and hopefully arrive before Christmas? Yeah, so as previously stated at the beginning of this video, we'll put an update out across social media on our last day of where we're at, and the blog post next week will be the best indicator of where we are for Christmas and what fulfillments are underway for that. And we also had a question from Padre. I second Matt's question and hope so Europa, and wish you all a nice weekend. Well, I hope you all have a nice weekend as well. But yeah, hopefully that information is helpful. We are hoping to get Europa moving as quickly as possible, so just keep an eye on the blog for next week, and if it's not next week's blog, assume after Christmas. Okay, next up we have two questions for Skyrim. First question is from Happy Hippo. Thanks for popping by again this week, Happy Hippo. And your question says, so my tracking information for Skyrim has said for 2 days the shipment item is ready for transportation. When will it actually ship? And Amelia said, hi, I have a question for Skyrim. So I got a mail about my delivery that has been shipped, and on the tracking page it states that the delivery information on the 1st December and nothing changed since then. Mail said the shipment is coming 4 to 7 days. 4 to 7 working days. What's going on? So the latest update for Skyrim is everything has been dispatched except for a handful of orders. So it might be either that your order is one of the ones still at the EU warehouse, or it has been dispatched and the tracking just hasn't updated yet. There are multiple reasons why this might be the case, and fingers crossed for you that since you have submitted this question that your tracking has updated. If it hasn't, I would recommend if you drop us a message on social media, we can check your order for you if it has been dispatched. If it has been dispatched and the tracking still hasn't updated, we would recommend reaching out to our customer service team, who will be able to investigate further into the location of your order. However, bear in mind we are currently experiencing a high amount of tickets, so there is a little bit of delay on that in the meantime. But yeah, as I said, reach out through social media and we can at least check your order first to see if it has at least dispatched, which will give you more information in the meantime. But yeah, once again, fingers crossed that your tracking has updated in the meantime. Okay, and we have one final question on the EU block this week from Lucas, who said an update on old school essentials would be appreciated. Thanks. Yeah, so as previously stated, it's the same for the UK orders. Is we're still waiting for confirmation that it's arrived at our warehouse, and until then, will be kept on hold. Once it has arrived, though, we'll take it off hold and put it in the relevant spot on the blog. Apologies, we don't have an estimated time arrival of when it'll be arriving at our warehouse, so apologies that we weren't able to provide that information, but that is the latest update for Old School Essentials. Okay, and that is all the questions this week on the Fulfilment blog. Thank you for everyone who's popped by. As usual, keep an eye on the blog for Tuesday. Yeah, depending on the amount of questions we have next week, there might be a Games Questions, there might not be. However, if there is information we can provide, we'll go ahead with Games Questions. But if this is the last one before Christmas, I'd just like to say I hope you will have a fantastic time, and we'll be back soon. So until then, hope you guys all have a great time. Bye.